I love you, Lord. Oh, your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire in darkest night. You are close like no other. I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire in darkest night. You are close like no other. I know you as a father. I know you as a friend. And I have lived in the goodness of God. Oh, this is my story. All my life you have been faithful. This is my song. All my life you have been so, so good. Every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. 'Cause your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I surrender now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running, it keeps running after me. All my days, Jesus. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. The Lord our God is ever faithful. He's never changing through the ages. From this darkness, you will lead us, and forever we will say, you're the Lord our God. The Lord our God is He's faithful and never changes. before you. I know who stands behind. The God of angel armies is always by my side. The one who reigns forever. He is a friend of mine. The God of angel armies is always by my side. Stands behind. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop, you never stop. Press it up. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop, you never stop working. You never stop, you never stop working. Praise the one who set me free. Hallelujah. Death has lost its grip on me. You have broken every chain. There is salvation in your name. Jesus Christ, my living
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Birmingham Bible Church's Winning Wednesday. If you are new to this, just to give you a little introduction, but we like to take this time out to bring our viewers to bring you some very important information that is for your life and for your living. And I am excited because I did some reflecting on today, and we've had some great speakers all this year. We've had great speakers all this month. Last week, listen, if you are a parent, if you are a guardian, we had Nikki Ivory come on and she talked very extensively about summer programs. And we had a great time talking about that. Listen, there's plenty of things for your children to do. All you have to do is research it. But she went through all of that and it was great. So listen, I just want to take some more time to thank each and every one of you. Those of you who are watching on Facebook, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is BHAM BC. I'd like to thank all of you who are watching via Twitter, via Instagram, and through our website. Don't forget, you can watch through our website. That's bhambc.org, and then you can click on the Watch Live button. Anytime we're live, you can watch what's going on through our website. Don't forget, please make sure as you are watching on Facebook that you are tagging some people. We want you to tag some people. We want you to share this broadcast with someone that you know. please share it with your family, share it with your friends, particularly those who are business owners, or maybe you are thinking about starting a business. But listen, this is for you. Even if you already have one, listen, this speaker for today, I'm excited about the information she is going to bring, but she's going to teach you and tell all of us how we can reinvent our brand and our business. And so we are ending this month in a powerful way. I'm excited about this topic for today. She is going to bring forth some information that is very crucial, that is very important. Because what I found out is, of course, with COVID has really changed the game. Even the way we do church, we've had to shift. We've had to do certain things differently. Everything wasn't always in person. And so now we have this virtual audience. So now we have to meet the needs of those who are virtual and those who are in person. And so all of us have had to shift. Some of us have had to work from home. We know of people now who now there are layoffs. Layoffs are occurring. And so our speaker for today is very experienced. Her name is Crystal Smith. She is the CEO of Crystal Smith Enterprises. She has two operations, y'all. She is in Hollywood and she also has a base in Atlanta, Georgia. When I say she's experienced, she has worked in the business and entertainment industry for 30 years. She's worked with some very prominent, famous people, LeBron James, and she's can go through all that, Michael B. Jordan. I believe she's worked with Sylvester Stallone. I'm sure the list can go on and on. But just in talking to her before we got started, she has truly a passion for this. She has a passion for consulting, producing, in branding. She has just a lot of zeal, a lot of energy. I'm excited about not only just her bio, her resume, but the person that she is. And so she's also recently just developed a brand up app, and she's going to talk more about that as well. But it is to help those of us who are business owners, help us to reach our goals. And so we all need that. I don't care if you are of a Fortune 500 company, we all need to make sure that our business is where it needs to be. And so I introduce to you Crystal Smith. Hello, Crystal.
Hello, Lady
Hey,
Pam. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm super. I'm super glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming. We have quite a few business owners even at our church, and I know that and then we have children at home who want to be business owners as well. And so I'm sure that you're going to give us some great information. I'm excited about it. If you could tell us, you can start off, tell us a little bit about yourself as much as you can, a little bit. I mean, you've done so much with Netflix. I was reading and I was like, you think you know somebody. And then I was like, oh, I didn't know it like I thought I did. but I mean, you have an extensive resume. Tell us just, even how you got started. And you can go from there. Talk to us about, what you're doing as a single mom, how that journey looked like. We have single parents out there and they're kind of like, they're just kind of going from day to day and maybe not thinking they can do what you do, but please just give us a snapshot.
Okay, so you want to be all day. That's what you want.
No, I don't want to be all day.
You want to hang out for a while. That was a loaded, those were loaded questions. But, for the most part, I am Crystal Smith, Monday through Friday. No, I'm just joking. Professionally, that's my title, Crystal Smith. I've been a CEO for 30 years. I've worked one job in my life, and it was at a restaurant called Hardee's Restaurant. And I was 13 years old when I started working there. Very illegal to be working at that time, but I figured it out. And I decided after that first experience that I never wanted to be an employee again. I wanted to be the owner. And so I went on a quest to become that. And I started my business when I was 19. The way I started was crazy because I started the business because I got pregnant. And my parents were so kind. They sent me off to college and they wanted me to do it that way. And I wanted to do it a different way.
Mm.
And I don't recommend that to anybody, but it was my journey. It's my story. So I had to own it, you know? And so I got pregnant and I had my first son and the journey just went on from there. So I ended up having to leave college because my parents were like, well, you made a decision. So now you have to stick with it. And my parents were, as I shared with you earlier, both of my parents are veterans. And so they both had a very militant way of training me. It was like hands-on training. So you chose to be a parent, so let's get started. And that's how I got into business. It was more or less a form of survival than anything else. I knew I had to figure life out because of my choices. And that's what I went. So I had started learning a trade in high school, which was in the automobile industry. And things just went on from there. And I ended up in Hollywood. And that story, it has a lot of highs and lows, but I made it and I'm here. As far as being a single mother is concerned, that's not for the weak at heart. That's a journey. But I will say that I thought the hardest part was when the kids were small. Well, all of my kids are grown now. So for everybody that they still their kids are not yet grown, if you think it's something now,
Right.
it's like it's harder
Amen.
being a parent to adult children than it is being a parent to small kids, because when they're small, they listen.
Mm-hmm.
You can protect them more when they're smaller. When they're older, it's, you know, prayer is your best friend for sure,
Yeah.
because that's really all you have. So my journey as a single, I wrote a book. I think it was maybe, I don't know, Lady Pam, I guess it was like 7, 8, 9 years ago. I don't remember, but I wrote a book about being a single parent, and it's titled The Silent Tears of a Single Parent.
Mm-hmm.
And if I wrote that book today, it would be totally different because the phases change and that parenting changes. And even though I remained single, the journey has been, I need to write 5 more volumes just from the last 7 years of writing the first volume, you know, because it changes, but it's a journey. But at the end, the blessings that God has, and my advice always to single parents, because I often like to remind people that they're more than single mothers. You have a lot of single fathers out here. So, you know, that journey of single parents, and I often try to just advise people to don't lose yourself in being a parent, because one day those little kids that you see today will grow up and they're going to go into their own life. And if you lose yourself while you're trying to help them to become whatever they're going to become, it gets really cloudy for you when they leave. So I always focus on trying to maintain a career, a profession, and a sociable life, so that when they got older, and I'm glad I did, because I'd be quite boring. I'd be quite bored right now. You know, all of my kids are grown and every last one of them are grown. And I have 2 grandkids, and I'm just, now that's a whole, that's a day conversation right there. I am one of the happiest grandmothers. Probably everybody's probably happy, but I'm really, I'm extremely happy. So, you know, the parenting journey, just don't lose yourself. Stay in the now of your own life while being a parent, so that when it's time to make the shift, you still, you know, you still can pick up and move on.
Awesome. Thank you for those words of comfort and inspiration. So maybe your second book should be Parenting Adult Children. That's what that should be.
That's all I can say is woo on that one. I hope I'm coming to the end of a chapter on that one. It's a journey, but you know, I hold on to the scripture that raise up a child in the way that they should go.
That's right.
And that second part. The second part is that second part. So I'm looking forward to whatever God has in store for all of their lives. I did my job like most of us parents, and you just trust God on the rest.
Amen. Amen. Awesome. Well, tell us about and you can share your PowerPoint whenever, I guess, reinventing your brand, what that looks like. You can begin with that or however you want to proceed.
Okay, well, just to give like just a little opening. So for those that aren't familiar with what I do, this particular session that we're going to do today, we're talking about reinventing, inventing and reinventing, because according to research, Lady Pam, is saying that we have more African American business owners in the history, in the history of Black folk, you know, and that's tremendous. It's tremendous, but what has happened is a lot of people have started businesses, but they don't know a lot about business. And that's where you bump into a problem, because it means longevity wise, that those numbers are going to decrease, because just because you start a business, it doesn't mean you're going to keep a business. It just means that you started a business. So I'm loving the numbers that I'm seeing of people that have started a business. My focus now is trying to help people to maintain those businesses, so these numbers can continue to go up with our legacies, that our children will be able to inherit the investments that we're making now, and our grandchildren, and, you know, years after we leave, that our legacies still live. And that's where we're going to hit on a couple of things today that will help maintain the businesses.
Awesome. Yes, ma'am.
So,
yes,
okay,
ma'am.
so let's go ahead and jump into the PowerPoint. And
Let me make
I'm
sure.
hoping that I'm not going to have to call my assistant over here.
Oh, no, you're fine. There we go. Also, I think I just made you a co-host. I think this might have been what happened.
Okay, because I was like, okay, let me try it again.
Yep.
Pardon me.
No, you're fine.
I tell them all the time, I say, I'm the creative brand. I am not the administrative brand at all.
Behind every leader is a great administrator. I understand that. I understand that. And it's great that you said that, you know, because you're right. During COVID, a lot of people, they started a business, and every January, well, we did it for maybe two years. We had a Reconstructing Your Business Summit to talk about stuff like that, to help business owners. Hey, let's maintain it. Let's make sure y'all are doing everything you can to make sure that your business is 5-star level. And so I think it's great that you brought that out, to be able to start and sustain. That's the important thing.
I don't think, can you see it?
Yes, I sure
you can see the PowerPoint?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so we'll go ahead. I'm gonna move myself so you guys can see everything on it. That way we can get started. Okay, so here today, I just want to talk about is reintroducing yourself. And so when you reintroduce yourself, just to give a couple of pointers about that, you may have some on here that are already in business, and you may have some that are thinking about getting started, but I'm going to kind of deal with those that are already in business. We'll start there anyway. I want to use an example before we get started so that I can help you guys get a visual of where we're going. It's like Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs is the one that created computers. For those that are of a certain age, you remember computers from the time when they were so big that they took up our entire desk in school. They were humongous. Just think about that beginning for Steve Jobs all the way to where we are now. And we have gone from that huge computer to a handheld device that we can take with us everywhere we go. A lot of us, we couldn't even use a computer until we got to school, and not only to school, but when we got to that period at school. So that's how developing brands have to become, and you have to start somewhere. So Steve wasn't afraid to start with that big, fat, beige, ugly computer.
Yes.
Just to get us to these high-tech telephones, laptops, iPads, iPods that we have now. So that's the process. That just wanted to paint that picture so everybody can kind of understand it's a journey, and you have to be willing to start somewhere. So the reintroducing yourself, and that's where that's based upon. The topics we're going to discuss today is review, REVIEW. review, re-strategize, represent, and revenue. I just broke it down so all my REs could line up together, but it's revenue. So we'll start with review. In the review process for your business, the first thing you want to do at this point, you want to look at the digital appearance, the audience growth, and the revenue. Now, if you ask, what is the digital appearance? That's how others see you compared to others in your field. So your digital appearance, it's oftentimes we think about the physical location, but what happens is we're living in a technology era. Everything is deriving, it's so opposite from the way we were taught business. Everything now is deriving from technology out versus out in. So many people have closed down physical locations. So at this point, you have to go digital to physical versus physical to digital. Because if you don't build that digital first, it's going to be difficult to maintain the physical of your business, of your brand. The next thing you want to do, audience growth. I'm trying to just run through this. I'll tell you guys later about a master class that I'm doing now where we dig deeper on each subject. We're just doing an overview right now. So the next is their audience growth. On your audience growth, well, let me go back to the digital appearance. You have to ask yourself a few questions. How does your audience see your brand, the audience that can see you now, and then the audience that may see you, but they don't engage with you? Are they seeing you as big or small? Whatever type of business, this applies to any business, ministry, anything. Do they see you as big or small? And believe it or not, we're living in the era we're living in now. Everybody wants to be involved with what's trending, what's popular. In their words, what's popping. Everybody wants to be involved. And as churches, definitely, you have to learn how to evolve into the trends, not necessarily watering down or changing the ministry, the method, the word of God. None of that changes. None of that will change. But you have to think about and review the approach of how you're being presented to an audience so that more people will start engaging with your ministry, with your business. And engagement leads us over to the third point, which is revenue. Once you get the audience, the targeted audience that will be interested in what you're doing, then you will see the revenue. All of what I'm saying is going to tie into revenue because it's one of the most taboo words that people like to talk about, money. Nobody really wants to talk about money, but it takes money to do absolutely everything. And if you're talking about being a business owner without money, you just can't run a business. There's nowhere around it. You can have a lot of faith and no money, and you're going to be in trouble. So you still have to mix all of this. And the audience, the digital appearance, all of that goes right into bringing the revenue. And on the revenue, you want to, in the reviewing of the revenue, you have to ask yourself, how are your sales? How are your sales? How is the money? Is the money coming in good? Did you, during the pandemic, that's a great way to assess. Go back over the past 2 years and look at your revenue. Look at peak points. Hopefully you're keeping good records. So you can go back and you can look and say, okay, during this month, summer, spring, winter, fall, during this time, I had peak numbers. During this time, I had low numbers. During the pandemic, when everybody was home, my numbers look like this. Now that people are kind of getting back out, my numbers look like this. All of this is going to lead to another point that we're going to. And so you have to look at all of these, and then you have to ask that question, am I maintaining? So all during the pandemic, if you revenue-wise, if you were at one place, and then now, as things are picking up, you're still at that place, that's still not good, because revenue should always increase. It'll level off, but then it should go back up. So in business, you're always going to have highs and lows. But if you find yourself maintaining on the same level for too long, that's a problem in business. That's a problem with your brand because it's not doing what brands are intended to do. So, Lady Pam, should we stop after each, or you want me to just go on through it and then we'll do a question and answer at the end?
Well, I was thinking of a question right here, and maybe it's too extensive. When you talked about audience growth, um, what are a couple of quick ways that people can grow their audience? I guess the main ways, the ones where, you've gone to a business and you say, okay, most businesses, they need to look at these particular areas when growing their audience. What's some of the most popular ones that you've seen?
Well, what fits 2022 when it comes to audience growth? Now, had you asked me this 10 years ago, this wouldn't
Yeah.
be my answer. But in branding, you always have to stay in the now of the times in order to be able to make your branding be successful. So when it comes to audience growth now, what's needed, you have to create content. We are in a content driven era. Everybody wants content. So content that can be broken down into so many small pieces, because content, like say, for example, I'll use your ministry, for example. Okay. Typically, most churches think when it comes to content that all you need to do is to put your service live on the air.
Mhm.
Put your service live on it, and that's it. You need to do a lot more than that. You need to take that service. It needs to be broken up into small pieces, and then it needs to be represented to the social media audience, to the World Wide Web, because somebody may not want to listen to all of your service. Most people want. They've gotten spoiled over the past 2 years.
Right.
So, those little small little TikTok videos that last 13 seconds, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, that's a draw, because that's where they live. That's where everybody living now. They're living
That's true.
in social media. So, we could be super spiritual and, act like that's the devil, or we can be wise and understand, learn how to engage in those arenas and minister and preach the gospel, still the same gospel, but just doing it a different way. So that's one of the main ways right now, Lady Pam, for audience growth. We're just, like you said, we in a window of time right now, so we could go into a lot of other ways, but that's one of the main ones.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. So we'll go ahead and we'll move to any other question, Lady Pam?
Oh no, that was great. You're helping me. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh, that means everything. Okay, so we'll go to the next one, which is re-strategize. Now, in the re-strategizing process, that's where you're really going to, number one, research. You have to research your market. You have to find out what's hot and what's not. I don't care what industry it is. It doesn't matter. Branding is a universal language. It doesn't matter who you are. It's a universal language, or what your business is, whether you are actor, actress, it doesn't matter. A business, a retail store, it doesn't matter. You have to find out what's hot and what's not. At the end of the day, the research, find people that are in your industry that are doing similar to what you're doing, because everybody feels like their business is unique. So I'm gonna let them have it. But for the most part, I heard about this book that says something about there's nothing new up under the sun. So what happens is we all have similar things, but you add little bits to it to make yours unique. Doesn't make it new, it makes it unique. So in the research, and find other people that do similar as you, research what they've done, how they've done it, what their success rate look like, and the same research you did in your review in step number one, you do that same level of review, but this time it's called research because it's somebody else's stuff. And you make notes, and don't be afraid to do that, because sometimes we spend too much time trying to figure it out ourselves when the model is already out there. And I always tell everybody, I could have graduated, I could have had 5 master's degrees if I had had Google growing up. We had Google growing up. We had them big old encyclopedias and
Yes,
stuff. So,
Lord. Yes.
it is just, the research is so vital. The next one would be opportunities. You have to create opportunities for your audience, for your customers. Opportunities are everything. What do I mean by opportunities? Opportunities, you have to make them feel like there's an opportunity. it's a reasoning, it's a reason as to why. Give them a reason why they should use your service, patronize your business, come to your church. Opportunities. So opportunities can be an array of things. You just have to be, that's where creativeness comes in. In retail, you create sales, coupons, QR codes. It's so many different ways. You know, if you're a restaurant, you know, maybe focus on meal deals, 3-for-1s, you know. You remember when Wendy's, I don't know if they still have it, had the dollar menu.
Yes.
You see what I'm opportunities. So that's what I'm meaning by that. Depending on the type of business you have, you may have to create events. And in those events, it has to be something that caters to something that would draw an audience. But in your event creation, you have to create opportunities of whatever kind. So it's a very broad spectrum, but I'm just trying to lay a foundation here. So it's like, join a community, you know, find something that your business can focus on. Every business should have a nonprofit focus, even if it doesn't have a nonprofit organization, it still needs to have a nonprofit focus. So just like I'm a serial business owner, so I have like 7 different businesses. Well, all of my businesses have a nonprofit reach. I don't have a nonprofit, but it has a nonprofit reach, which is single parents. My heart is for single parents because I've been one for over 24 years now. So that's where my heart is. So everything I do in any of my businesses, I'm always going to create opportunities for single parents. Hopefully that, like when it comes to ministry and things like that, committees, groups, special groups, anything that'll create opportunities. If the church is gonna have sometimes churches can be some of the most segregated places in the world, unfortunately, but true. You know, so it's like churches, when you have, let's say, for example, I'm gonna make up something. Let's say the church is going to have a garage sale. Let's just say this Saturday, the church is gonna have a big garage sale. A lot of times, churches will make that only for the members. Only the members can participate in the garage sale. Why not create opportunities for people in that entire neighborhood to come on the church parking lot?
Right.
And sell theirs. You see what I'm saying? That's opportunities. That's also another opportunity to minister. Whereas people that may live 3 doors down from your church has never been there. But if you tell them you're going to create a platform and give them an opportunity to sell old stuff in their house and make money off of it, they're going to turn up. As the kids said, they're going to pull up. So that's on the opportunity. So we'll move on to leverage global platforms. So of course, that's kind of what we talked about earlier, talking about social media. Social media is more than just putting your events on social media. You have to be very creative in that part. It's way bigger than Facebook ads. And when I use the word leverage, I'm saying use what's already out there to help build your business and your brand. So in this re-strategizing process, you want to leverage, you want to go back in your review and in your re-strategizing, you want to make sure that you have put in as a part of your strategy how to leverage platforms, and meaning social media platforms, creative content, things that help you make money off of their platforms, not just them make money off of you, because we're going to get into that in a minute. What most people don't understand, everything you post on social media, you make Mark Zuckerberg, you make soon to be Elon Musk, possibly the owner of Twitter's, Instagram, TikTok, you know, and a lot of people, they think that that's just something fun to do. You're making people extremely wealthy. So where I do a lot of teaching now is teaching people, if you're going to put content on these platforms, get paid. Wow. And in order to get paid, you have to know what type of content that you need to put on there. Another day, another subject, but that is, any questions behind that, Lady Pam?
No, ma'am, this is great. Listen, take your time.
Okay.
This
Okay,
is
yeah, because
great.
I'm rushing because I'm trying
No,
to get it all in, but I
no,
want everybody.
yeah, this is good.
Awesome, thank you. Want everybody to be clear. So hopefully at the end, we can open it up for Q&A. So if you guys have questions, just make a note of it. And when Lady Pam opens it up, I'm open to answer any questions you have. So our next one would be represent. And the represent is talking about, number one, your appearance. You have to change your brand look. Let's kind of roll back to my example of Steve Jobs. Okay, remember the big computer that took up our screen all the way to the handheld, nice iPhones. They're beautiful. You know, some of us treasure them. Like I'm a tech lover. So, you know, iPhone to me probably means something a whole lot different than does to the next person because tech is a part of my profession. But the appearance of your brand means everything and it should change. Most aren't aware. The appearance of your brand should change no less than once a year. You don't want to overdo it, but you definitely don't want to underdo it. Because let's use a ministry, for example. If your ministry logo has looked the same for the last 30 years, that's fine because it should be embedded in people's head. They should know when they see that logo, whether it's the members, that's my church, whatever, the people in the community, oh, that's such and such church. If people that have been near your church or part of your ministry, or if you've been on television ministry and they see your logo and they don't know without hearing your voice or seeing your face, that is your ministry, or that when I say your ministry, that's the church that that you pastor, then that's a problem because it says that your logo is not engaging, it's not captivating, it's not memorable, which are very key points in branding. So if you say, oh, I don't want to change my logo, great. Then let's focus on changing other things that are around it, like your website, like your social media, like all of that should change on the regular because appearance is everything. Again, you base branding off of the era and the times that you're living with. You know, back in the day, we advertised in the yellow pages. They dropped these big old books on your porch in the rain, and you got to wait till they, that's for people of a certain age. But we don't advertise like that no more. That's not how we get phone numbers anymore. So times continue to change. The appearance of your brand should change, whether it's your social media look. We're talking about digital here, whether it's your website, whether it's your app, whatever process, however people see your brand, it should be a consistent change at least once a year. Again, let's go to the why. The why is, why should they want to use your service, your business, why they want to come to your ministry? People just are not automatically going to get that information. That is a narrative that you, the CEO of the company, has to put out. You have to tell people why they should support your business, why they need what you sell, whether it's food, whether it's makeup, whatever your products are, whether it's ministry. Why do they need to come to your church when they got to pass 10 churches to get to your church Sunday morning? Why do they need to pass all 10 of those churches just to get to your church? These are real questions, and they come with real answers, and they produce or they don't produce. That's how important the why is. So, there was a time, this is still relevant now, but it's not as purposeful as it was when I first began my career. So what happens is, Lady Pam, subtitles.
Mm-hmm.
So you have like Burger King, your way, right away.
Right.
Everybody know Burger King. As a matter of fact, when I was a kid growing up, if I did something to my mama or I was having a spoiled moment, my mom would say, "This ain't Burger King. You ain't gonna have it your way." You know what I'm saying? So
right.
That's how important those whys are, because you have to put a why. again, we used to use subtitles, you still use subtitles, but in that subtitle, you got to create a why. And outside of a subtitle, you have to create that narrative and let that narrative connect to your brand. Let's use ministry again as an example. Okay. When you think back over the years of being in the body of Christ, Lady Pam, and it's like, if I say you don't have to, now you don't have to answer me. I'm just going to throw the example out there. Okay. So when we're talking about preachers in the body of Christ that you have come across in your walk with Christ, if I say anointed healer, in your mind, can you quickly think of a man or woman of God that you have seen that has a heavy anointing on their life? And you've seen them lay hands on people and they get healed. I mean, literally, when you think about trigger words, when you say powerful or anointed singer, does a particular gospel artist come in mind? When you say on a food level, when you say, let's say, if you say, I got gas, what's the first thing come to your mind? Is it, I don't know, Gas X? You know what I'm saying? Because these are companies and these are brands. Is it Rolaids? Is it Pepto-Bismol? I'm just trying to make sure people really getting what I'm saying here, the why. So if I say I have gas, if Pepto-Bismol comes in mind, that's the why. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, that's the why. We want, in my mind, it says that I know Pepto-Bismol to be a brand that'll help heal or help my stomach feel better. That's how important it is to connect a why with your ministry, with your brand, in whatever your business is. Because you want people, if somebody says, my child was in a car accident, they're on life support, I need a preacher that I believe is called by God, anointed by God to go pray for my child. You want your ministry to be the first name they come up with, even if they go to Brother Watermelon Church. You know what I'm saying? That's that why. So I can stay right there too long, but let's go to the platform. Okay, the platform. Again, with the platform, we're going back into that same digital space, the platform, the digital appearance, the why. You want, that's the platform is still going. I kind of dug more into the appearance and the why, but that rolls over into the platform. Represent. You want to represent your platform, whatever it's been. You want to do a change. A lot of people, they wait to the New Year's to think about these things. And Brandon, as a CEO, you have to think about these things constantly, all year long. Some people want to wait to the new year to lose weight, all of that. When it comes to your business, all year long, you have to cut off fat off of your brand, cut off fat off of you. Okay, we tried this, we gave it 60 days, we didn't see results, let's move to the next thing. That's how it is from a platform perspective. You want to represent your platform, and I'm using platform, but it falls in the same category as your brand, as your business, as your church, whatever. Represent it. Whereas everybody, like, let me on this note, let me start here. Let me show, like, for example, I won't categorize what type of people do this, but I'm gonna just put this out there. Oftentimes people get stuck in one place. So you have right now everybody talking about the new norm. What's the new norm? Okay, so many people. Now, I've been doing this for a long time. For a long time, I was trying to get people to understand, the churches especially, to understand the importance of getting into the cyber world, getting online, creating a place and a space for your ministry online. I preached that until I was blue in the face. So when the pandemic hit, and I literally had preachers that said to me, I'm not with all that. I want God, I want Jesus to be the focus of my ministry. We're not taking away from that. Right. Brandon takes nothing away from that. What Brandon does is, back in the day, My grandmother, when she would be praying, or my great grandpa, they would be praying, they would say stuff like, we got to go out in the highways and the byways. Well, guess what? We here now.
Right.
And what happens is that's what the World Wide Web is. It gives us an opportunity to reach people in countries that we will never visit. Sitting on the internet. So that's how important your platform is, because a joke that I was teaching a class last week, and a joke that I said to them, I said, now every ministry in the world is one church in a lot of locations.
That's right.
Isn't that the truth, Lady Van?
It's the truth.
Every church now, it used to be a big deal when a ministry would be like, oh, we one church in 3 locations. We got a building on 3 different sides of town. Well, now every ministry in the world is one church in many locations. Now, whether you unlock those other locations, that's your business. But you have that opportunity now. And the best part about that is you don't even have to pay all that rent.
That's right.
You ain't got to buy buildings.
Yes.
You don't have to worry about all this debt that comes along with buying the physical locations. You can have one main location and create a different platform in every part of the world, where a lot of people have it misconstrued and don't understand is that the World Wide Web is only one component of a digital space. In Africa, they have another web too. In India, they have a web too. Everything doesn't directly lead over to the United States of America. You can create platforms all over the world.
Yes.
All over the world. There are many other webs other than ours.
Crystal, when you were talking about churches and how, you can be in multiple locations, I can't tell you how many people have been like, I visited 3 churches before 12 mil, when the pandemic first hit.
Wow.
But it goes back to what you're saying. Okay, what is going to make our church stand out amongst everyone else? I'll give you another example. When you were talking about brick and mortar, I've been noticing here in Birmingham, there are so many food trucks that are popping up. And I said, how cool is that? You don't even have to be in the same place. You can go all over the place. So if you want to hit the, you can go to the hood and put your food truck up. You can go to the upper class and you can put your food truck, and you can just take your business and just go. To me, I thought that was awesome, because, okay, now this, and it's mostly Hispanic food trucks, but they are just popping up and they are meeting the needs of various people.
Exactly.
I think it's an awesome example of what you're saying.
It definitely is, Lady Pam, because you remember back in the day, we had the ice cream truck.
Yes.
Yeah, we had the ice cream truck back when I was coming up. Well, how about now? How rebranding has presented food trucks. So whereas most people, they still haven't broadened their horizons even that far yet, like food trucks, just like the ice cream man used to go through a neighborhood, food trucks can go through a neighborhood. It's all of this is what we're evolving to in the world. I was just teaching this somewhere else recently, and I was telling them, I said, I look at my mother, my aunts, my older senior circle of life, and I look at them and I look at how foreign so many things look to them now, because they've been here 70, 80, 90, 100 years. So they're looking at all of our technology and all that. I still remember being a kid watching this cartoon called The Jetsons.
Yes.
And, and it looked so far-fetched, only to be looking at us right now and seeing all these things. And I told them in this class, and it was an aha moment for everybody. I said, has anybody ever thought about, when I look at these grandkids that I now have, I think about 20 years from now, for me to be able to tell them a story about how I used to go to the gas station, that's going to be foreign to them. The simple fact that we drove our cars to gas stations and put gas in our cars. They gonna look at us like, what? Y'all had gas stations? Because guess what? Cars are becoming electric now.
Right.
They're passing laws now that some of us may not even live to see them go into effect, but they're passing laws now to make all cars totally electric.
Yeah.
So that means they won't be going to gas station. You know, it's
Right.
just the way things continue to evolve. It goes back to your particular business. Any business owner that's watching, you have to do that same level of evolving on a regular, because things are moving so fast. You can't just create a model of a business and think that's all you need. So we'll move on. We'll move on to our final one, which is revenue. Revenue, which is not altogether the most important, but if you don't do 1, 2, and 3, you won't see what you intended or what your product has the potential to produce. That's the thing about it. I can't tell you in my industry, Lady Pam, how many people I see that are horrible actors, actresses, musicians, singer, whatever. It's not always about how good your product is or how good your business is that'll bring the revenue. The branding of that revenue, the branding of that product does more than a lot of times the quality of that product. And it all ties in together because the quality is what helps with the branding. So it's all one big component, but where oftentimes people get a little twisted in that is they don't understand where, you know, I'm trying to make sure I word this correctly. When it comes to the quality, let's say, for example, if I have a food truck, let's go back to that. If I have a food truck, I can have the best food out of 20 food trucks around. But if so-and-so's food truck has been branded properly, it reached a higher audience,
Right.
which is going to render a higher revenue. And their food not as good.
Right.
Do you know how many vegan restaurants that have been in existence over the past 20 years?
Wow.
Being a vegan is not something new, but all of a sudden it's being presented. I grew up as a Seventh-day Adventist. That is the health regimen I was taught as a child, being a vegetarian. So now this whole phenomenon about being a vegan, and then you see a business entity like Slutty Vegan that has come and dominated that market, dominated the market. Does it mean that her food is the best? No, that's not what it means. It means her business moves were best.
Wow.
That's what that means. It means she followed a model to brand her business and it worked. And that's where most they'll get so focused on the product or the services that the business, most often people don't understand when you create a business plan, if you don't have branding, advertising and marketing in your plan, you don't have a business plan. That business is between you and your circle. But you don't have a business plan that's going to create a global presence and create a global audience that's going to render you revenue. So it's super, super important. Moving on to appearance income. Okay. Again, I think I mentioned this earlier, helping people to understand when it comes to appearance income, if you post online and you don't make money for what you post, that's a problem. That's a problem because you is one-sided. You're giving these owners of these platforms, you're giving them content for free. And so I sat back and I watched during the pandemic because I loved research, because that's how I grow and re-strategize in my business, is by watching what I see going on. And I sat back and I watched church after church after church, and they just kept putting up their lives. And we're grateful because it was a way that well, at one point, everybody, that was the only way people could get ministry in the live form was through these platforms. So it was good for what it was good for. But once again, we can get stuck in one method. So now I see so many churches that right now they like, okay, this is the new norm doing church on the internet. It's the new norm keeping a digital presence for a church. Not necessarily, because there are things that are happening right now. What we experienced during the pandemic when it came to social media was a survival mode. Nobody in our era had ever seen that happen before. So yes, those platforms were open. They were open for churches to put whatever content they wanted to. If you watch and read and research now, you'll see that politics has jumped into social media tremendously now. So soon we're going to see a lot of restrictions. A lot of restrictions are going to start happening on social media platforms. And so people that feel like we're in the new norm, so the churches that feel like we're in the new norm and we just going to stay right here, we're going to keep having service on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, they're going to be in for a rude awakening, because what's going to happen, Lady Pam, they're going to start restricting the content, which means that puts handcuffs on a preacher.
Right.
That puts handcuffs on a preacher. It says that you have to now preach what the government say, or what the private owner of that platform, because the government doesn't own these platforms, but the government, Congress, Senate is working hard right now to put restrictions and boundaries on them. So if you as a business owner, as a ministry, if you don't create your own platforms, you have to create your own platforms and use the audiences that you've garnered on social media and lead them to your safe spaces. That's the trick to social media. You don't get stuck there. You use what you have there and you use it for what you want to use it for, and make money while you're using it. Because it's like anything I post on social media, any video, anything I post is paid. I'm being paid by them, even though they're making more than I'm making. It just still make me feel better to know I'm not giving them something for free. So when I put a post on my Facebook, on my Instagram, on any of these things, I'm getting paid for that. But how do you get to that point of being paid? You have to create a brand. You have to create a following so that these social media entities realize your value to them. That's the only people they're paying. They're not paying people that don't come across as valuable.
Right.
They're only paying people that have an audience, that are consistent with posting content. And that's we can, I can live there for a long time too. But appearance, I guess it's obvious, Lady Pam, that I love what I do, right?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, I love this because it's teaching people and it's helping them because everybody wants to sit and watch television and watch everybody else become wealthy and maintain their wealth. Because every time, being in this industry, I know for sure what I'm saying now. Every time people click on these shows and they support, that's their support, whether you like the show or not. When you turn it on, whether you turn it on your phone, whether you turn it on the TV, when you turn it on, you are supporting them and you're making them wealthier or wealthy. So I try to teach people, use that energy and use that time to make yourself wealthy.
Hey, Crystal, let me ask you one teeny tiny question about that. And let me give you the example of YouTube.
Okay.
So, and this is me not knowing, all the ins and outs. But for example, someone who is a chef who starts cooking on YouTube. So are you saying that once they create a large following, they can start saying, hey, Land O'Lakes, I have about 1,000 people following me. If you pay me, I will say that I use your butter in my recipe. Is that what you mean by?
Yes,
That's
exactly what I mean, because what you can do at that point, Lady Pam, you create their pitch forms, their these are things that my company do all day, every day. They're pitch forms and documents that can be filled. They're sent over to those places. They come, they'll review your page, your YouTube channel to see, it's not even, honestly, you don't have to, they're not reviewing to see how many times did you say Land O'Lakes butter.
Okay.
They're not reviewing that. They're just reviewing your participation, whether people were commenting, whether people were talking back to you, whether they were liking it, whether they were watching it in
Okay.
real time, or whether they watched it later. Did you have more viewership after it went off or while it was on? So they research for they're looking for all those type things. But what ended up happening is once they see all that and they like what they see, then they pay you. And so that's when, like when you look at YouTube bloggers and stuff, when you hear them say stuff like, I have paid advertisement,
Right.
that's for all that stuff. So that's why they be so invested in the YouTube world. They're so invested like that because that's how they're making their money.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Whether it's butter, whether it's a spatula. Now just think about how many tools you're using, people use when they're cooking. Lady Pam, just imagine if they were getting a hit from the spoon company, the spatula company, the pot that they're cooking in.
Right.
The
Right.
brand of butter, the brand of salt. I mean, it's so many ways to generate revenue. It's just a matter of knowing, picking a target. Oftentimes where a lot of people mess up is they have too many, like if you are a talented person and as I would say, a jack of all trades, that's beautiful. But if you want to land into a place of success, you have to narrow that down. And then you use all of the other ones in building the one. That makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to narrow it down and then use all of your other talents. Like me, I know what my central talent that I use every day is, but I created other businesses that I love around that central talent. Like I love television. I love casting for television shows. I love brand management. I love that. But guess what? I created a hair business. I created a hair business where my staff sells hair. Why? Because it goes with my industry. It goes with my main business. So all this to say, sometimes people will stretch themselves too thin and you have 5 different businesses because you're talented in all of them, but you can't successfully level up 5 different businesses at the same time. You got to master on one and then create legs. Like I have Crystal Smith Enterprises and then I have legs up under there. So anyway, that's a deeper. Let's hit this last one. The last one is data is the new dollar. Data is the information. Okay, so yeah, when it comes to data is the new dollar, that kind of leads back to some things we've talked about before from the perspective of earlier, I said every bit of content that you put on social media, you're making somebody money. Whether, in so many ways they can make money, but one of the main ways they're making money is off of the data that they collect off of what you put on social media. So now I'm trying to teach people how important data collecting is, because what most people don't understand is when it comes to data, data is as sellable as your car is. That's how sellable data is. When you have a platform and you have a lot of data, you have a lot of data, meaning a lot of people with phone numbers or people with emails or people, anything that's considered data that can lead somebody in a market to get new customers, that's worth money. So I have been teaching to every type of business that I deal with. I've been teaching them that every business, and this stems over into the church world, every business and every church should have, now hopefully everybody should already know this, but just in case, they should have a social media department. A social media department. And the reason I use the word department and not a social media person, a social media person can be the person that puts things on social media. You also need a person that gathers the data.
Wow.
You want the data. You want to give you case in point. You ever been on one of the social media apps or whatever, and they do like a cute like a quiz, or it's like yes or no, do you like beets? And that looks simple, right? That looks really simple. That's data. That's data being collected. Because everybody that clicks yes or no, they leave what's called a fingerprint. And that fingerprint turns into data. So, you know, we can go on and on, Lady Pam, but hopefully I have been of some type of assistance.
Oh, man, I tell you, you have. I was thinking of things for our church as well while you were talking. No, this was awesome. The key points, things I just did not even think about, even from a church standpoint. And we always say, and I'm talking from, church experience, a church is a business. I don't care how you look at it, it is a business. And people
Most
say it's
definitely.
not, it's most definitely a business. And so you have given, I know me, a lot of things to think about. There are a few people who are watching who are actually business owners in different areas. And this was great. We're going to have you back again. We do something every January for our business owners. You will be awesome in that lineup. Always do something a little different, either add somebody, because I know you were, this was a lot of information in a short period of time, but this was awesome. I have one last question, and I'm gonna try not to talk too much as well. But how important is it to network with other people? Because you talked about creating a following, and that's kind of also where I'm a little stuck, even with, other businesses. How do you create that following so that people will follow you? Do you have to network with other people, other organizations, other churches, if I'm a chef, do I need to talk to other chefs? Do I need to, how do what's a simple way I can kind of create following?
Well, there are a lot of ways you can skin that cat. It's a lot of ways. I think my age it kind of rolls over sometimes into my current world, but it's a lot of ways to do that, because networking is so vital. Yet there are different ways to network. Now living in a digital space, you can network without leaving your home. It used to be a time we would create events that were centered around networking. You can network from your house now, like literally no different than what you're doing now. You create a group. And one of the best forms of marketing is word of mouth. That's one of the best forms, because everybody gonna tell somebody. If it's good, they're gonna tell somebody. So when you start talking about networking on social media, what's very vital is for you to create a circle and a world and follow people that are in your circle, whatever your profession is. You follow people in that circle and become communicative. That goes back to what I was talking about when I said social media departments. But once again, in ministry, a lot of times you have a lot of people that may fall up under the volunteer status. And so sometimes you get volunteer results. But, you have to shift over into people that are knowledgeable, because as a leader, as a CEO, I just don't have that type of time in a day to sit on social media and respond to everybody that reaches out to me. But as a business owner, I have somebody that does that for me, and she's knowledgeable about it. So I don't have to be afraid if she's going to say the wrong things, because she's been trained, she's knowledgeable about it. But that level of communication, it should happen all day, every day on your brand. When, like, say, for example, you're in ministry, if you follow other people in ministry and you become a communicator on their platform, people that are on their platform begin to see your knowledge in different areas, because the comments are everything.
Mm-hmm.
The comments are where the people live. What we doing up here, this is cute, but the comments are where the people live, because you get more information. And sometimes while we're up here talking, they're in the chats talking.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they have their own conversations going, most times, not sometimes. Most of the time, they have their own conversations going on there. So that's where you want to go when it's not you up here. Make sense?
That makes plenty of sense.
When you're not here, you want to go down in there. You'll be amazed at some of the people that you'll meet. And then they'll leave there when the live or the video, whatever goes off, they'll leave there and go over to your platform, because now they want to know more about you. And it's a ripple effect. And just imagine let's just say if you connect with one or two everywhere you go, those numbers will grow tremendously, because then once people start following you, then they want to know more about you, because people are personality driven.
Right.
And that's one of the things I teach in branding. You have to give your brand a personality. It has to have a personality. It can't just be, this is Aunt Jemima. Well, why is this Aunt Jemima? You know, we had so many wrong theories out about Aunt Jemima. That's a whole other subject, though. But most of us bought Aunt Jemima because in my day growing up, we thought Aunt Jemima was made by a Black woman. Mm-hmm. So we were buying the syrup whether it was good or not. Mm-hmm. We was buying the syrup because it's made. We thought it was made by a Black woman. But that's the end. Hopefully, I answered that.
Yeah, no, you did. Crystal, this was awesome. I don't want to take any more of your time. How can people, I know you have the app Brand Up, how can people contact you if they need to set up an appointment, just get some one-on-one feedback from you? How can they do that?
Everything is in a central location now. As you stated, Lady Pam, I have a new app that's called Brand Up. If you have an iPhone and you're on an Apple device, you can go into your Apple store and just put in Brand Up, one word, Brand Up. My app is going to come up. When you download the app, you'll actually be able to see any castings that I'm working on now. You'll be able to see any upcoming events where I'll be participating, or that I'm working on these events, that they're live productions, whether in all genres, every aspect. So it's not, I want to be clear, it's not a faith-based, it's entertainment, period. So you get a lot of information over there. Over there, you can book consultations to talk to me about whatever, but everything is done on the app. If you don't have an iPhone and you have an Android, you can just go to the website, www. I can't believe I just said that, www, everybody got it. But anyway, just go to brandup.tv, brandup.tv. Go to brandup.tv on your Android or on your desktop, your laptop, and the same information that's on the app is on there. At another time, Lady Pam, we'll talk about the difference between websites and apps right now, because that's another something that's happening that I think the church may not be as knowledgeable about, and understanding that shift that's taking place. So getting your own app now, there are two different types of app. You can get an app that's owned by somebody else, and people have to go in there to download your app, or you get what's called a unified app, which is you're the owner. You own that digital real estate. And that way people come into your world. So no matter what happens, regardless of what happened, they have your world at hand. To people, it's too much out here now. They can't remember websites. By the time you hang up from a live, people are like, what was that website again? But if you can tell people in that moment, go to the app store, download this app. They download the app. And from that point on, you go with them everywhere they go. Wow. You don't have to worry about when they come across your website no more. When they come, no. Everything, we're moving to one click now. Yeah. See, we started off in the World Wide Web with websites and all that. We're moving to one click applications. Wow. And that's what apps are. They're one click. So they can join me there. And we talk about all of this. We're in a master's class right now. It's a 7-week course for everybody that is on the live here. I told my staff once we go off to open it up for free, and they can all join it week 1 for free. It'll be 6 more weeks. Those weeks are $75 per week, but the information you get, if you apply it um, before the 7 weeks is over, you'll see a return on your investment. But everybody that's watching today, they can actually go over and join. It's only going to be open for like 4 hours for free after we hang up. And then they go over, join, start the first week. And after you finish the first week, it'll open up for you to go into week number 2 through 7, 1 week at a time. By the time we finish, I'm just excited to see the results of the businesses or new businesses that'll come out of it.
And I did download your app yesterday. You said, and that's the master class. I just kind of
Yes.
navigate. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So for 4 hours, it'll be free. Is that what we're saying, for 4 hours?
Yes, ma'am. For 4 hours after we hang up.
After we
It'll
hang
be
up.
free. And is that showing on your page?
Yeah, I see it now.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
Yes.
So that's the information. They can download it, and I'm excited for growth.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited. Thank you so much. I want to make sure you don't have any more slides after this one, do you?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
I
Oh,
want to
no,
make sure.
it is.
Okay, okay, good. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, that's it. I'm sorry.
Okay,
They're making me be an adult today. I have to do all this by myself.
No, this is fine, but I see the website is there, guys. Crystal's email address, crystalsmithent.com, and she's on Instagram, CEO Crystal Smith, as well. Of course, that's everything that she's been a part of, and even her book that she talked about, for all of you who are single parents. I'm going to quickly, we just have a couple of slides that I need to share. Please hang on, Miss Crystal, because I do want you to come back and just give us, just kind of close this out and give us some closing remarks after I do just a couple of announcements.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Just to let everybody know, don't forget on Friday, we are going to start our the upper room experience. It's going to be 10 days prior to fasting and praying, leading up to Pentecost Sunday. That starts June the 27th. It will go all the way to June the 5th. Every morning at 6 a.m. During that time, we're going to be praying on our prayer conference call number. That number is on the screen, but it is 727-731-0433. Again, 727-731-0433. Of course, I'm going to say that number one more time, but it's 727-731-0433. This is our upper room experience. We are believing God for major things to happen, of course, with Birmingham Bible Church and in your life as well. So please, ma'am, please, sir, make sure you join us starting May 27th. Then on the 28th, we are going to be celebrating all of our graduates virtually. If you have graduated from pre-K all the way up to college, we're going to celebrate you. Of course, kudos to you and all your accomplishments. You did it and you have ended the year strong. And so we have with us Miss Shada Spikes. She has been with us before out of Atlanta. Awesome speaker. She is going to be our speaker for that day. It's May 28th at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Parents, if you have not sent me your information, please do so. Send me an email saying, hey, I'm interested. Lady Pam at tcowi.org, Lady Pam at tcowi.org, so I can send you the information that you need. Also, June the 1st, don't forget, we are going to be starting our summer reading program. Starts June the 1st and July 31st. Parents, your children are encouraged to read as many books as they want to. Make sure after they read a book, they go to our website, bhambc.org. They are going to click on the web slider that looks like this, and then they're going to key in the author, the name, depending on their age level. If they're young, they got to just write a couple sentences of what they read. But if they're older, they got to put a little bit more thought into it. But once they have completed that, they're going to hit the submit button. Don't forget, at our back to school rally, we're going to announce the winner of each age group. So this is for prizes. So make sure you read as many books as you can during this summer so that your brain will not turn to mush. Okay. Also, For all of our ladies, June the 3rd, we are having our virtual ladies pajama party. So excited about this. We are going to be focusing on our mental health, which is very important. And so we have a hairstylist out of Atlanta, Shannon Smith. She's going to talk about how hair care is important for our mental health. Dr. Larissa is going to talk about how foods are important and what foods we need to have for our mental health. And then Valerie Wilson, she's going to talk about why our mental health is important. This is going to be shown virtually, free of charge. Remember, the date is Friday, June the 3rd at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Please make sure you are present. We're going to have a great time. And then our marriage and singles retreat, don't forget that, guys. It's June the 25th. It's going to be in Atlanta, Georgia. We're going to have a great time. We're going to go be in person. We're going to just kind of make sure we're safe and loving each other. We're going to learn from each other. But it's going to be at Mary Max in Atlanta, June 25th. The cost is $40 per person. Of course, that includes all you can eat buffet. And of course, we're going to be getting instructions from our Pastor Curran Lee and his wife, Lady Yolanda Lee. They were with us before, did a great job. And so I'm excited about the information they are going to present to us. That deadline is June the 5th. Please make sure you register and have paid by June the 5th. If you pay Givelify, Cash App, however you're going to do it, make sure you put in the memo that it is for the marriage and singles retreat. Okay. Other than that, of course, we are on One Place. Continue to get those teachings, and you want to, of course, get more teachings from Pastor Mason. Go to oneplace.com, do a search for his name, Dr. James H. Mason III, and you can see all the messages. You can hear all the messages that are archived through the oneplace.com app website. So I believe that's all we have for today. Thank you so much, Crystal, for joining us. We appreciate all this good information. I took great notes. I am excited about implementing. I have a goal. I said, I'm just going to, digest a little bit at a time. I'm going to implement 2.
Right.
I got 2 things I'm gonna work on. I'm gonna start on for the ministry, and then I had our sons. Hopefully, they were watching it because they want to have their own business. So hopefully, they can go back and listen to it as well. So yeah, but thank you for that. We are definitely going to have you on in January. I'm going to get with your assistant and see if the time will permit for you to do so. But this was awesome information. Thank you so much. Is there anything you want to leave our audience with?
Well, I want to congratulate you because you've already implemented some of what I was sharing today. I was looking at your advertisements, and it took me back to what we were talking about when we were speaking of opportunities.
Yeah.
You have several opportunities out here that are open for other people to be able to participate. Again, leading into that why. Why be a part of this ministry? Because, like I said earlier, as the kids would say it, it looked like y'all popping up there in Birmingham. You know what I'm saying? Look like y'all got it going on. So that's what people want to be a part of, and then I congratulate you on that Mary Mac event. That's one of my favorite
Really?
spots.
It is. Yeah, I know, right?
See what I'm talking about when I said brand, and I was talking about those subtitles and the why. When you say the name Mary Mac, I instantly, good food is what came to mind. Y'all going, I almost forgot what the event was, but I know that y'all gonna eat good. You know what I'm saying? Because I know the food. So it all ties in, but I just wanna leave this with everybody. It's so important, especially for those in ministry, because it's what I always say, the Bible is branded. Most people don't even realize that because they get so caught up in the spiritual component of it. They don't understand. Do you know how many 100,000 versions of the Bible that it is out here? We have commercials. We have apps out called Pray. Like I got a new phone recently, and I downloaded the King. I downloaded the Bible, and because I like to have the Bible on my phone, I downloaded the Bible. And all of a sudden, I keep getting these scary alarms that's coming on like some mystical sound. and it says in the middle of nowhere, it's telling me to pray. You go, okay, all right, I got it. You know, once again, it all goes with the branding. All this to say, everything that is created to draw people is a brand. I don't care what it is. If it's created to draw people, it's a brand. So if you're in business, do yourself a favor and get all that you deserve out of your business or that you intended to get out of it by establishing not only a logo, because a logo is not a brand, but establishing a brand that can be a legacy for your family.
Wow.
Thank you for having me, Lady Pam.
Thank you so much, Crystal. Thank you for those kind words. We are still working in progress and learning how to navigate, but thank you for all of the words of wisdom that you have shared with our viewers on today. We look forward to talking to you very soon.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.